He right now is being held as a prisoner of war because of what he did in Iraq. I say, let's make sure Iran holds up to at least the Geneva Convention. And that will what is it going to prove? It's not going to prove anything. What it's going to do is give our country the dignity to know that we don't leave a soldier behind, period.
1,316 days. Now, that's how long Amir Hekmati, an American Marine, has been held in the most brutal Iranian prison, the one known for torture. And now Amir Hekmati's sister, Sarah Hekmati, and his brother-in-law, Dr. Rami Kurdi, joining us from Amir's hometown in Flint, Michigan. Good evening to both of you. And I can tell you from all my email, it's that I know you have great sadness with him being held in Iran, but I tell you, the American people are furious this Marine is being held in Iran and hasn't come home. So, Sarah, first to you. When was the last time you had any communication from your brother, a Marine?
Well, first of all, Greta, thank you so much for helping us make America aware. And as of the past few months, Amir has been allowed short phone calls, 5-minute intervals, maybe once a day. And that's after us not having any contact with him for the past 2 years. So within this 3.5 time frame, we've recently been able to have contact with him.
Dr. Kurdi, do you know his physical condition? Because he's in a rough prison. He's been there a long time, longer than anybody else.
You know, at this point, he's malnourished. Daylight, he doesn't see it. He eats lentils. He has some protein there. He's lost over 30 pounds. The Amir we knew was a physical specimen. He was a Marine, trained even long after he served, ate healthy. He's very concerned about what he eats and how he lives, and we know he's emaciated.
Dr. Kurdi, what was his service? What did he do?
He was in the Marines, served 4 years, and then afterwards he did contracting with the military, but shortly after finishing his contracts, he had no obligations and then decided to travel to visit his family.
Sarah, was he served as a translator as well, so he was working in the military as a translator.
Sarah, why was he in Iran?
Well, Amir, obviously, his parents were born in Iran and immigrated to the U.S. We were all born here in the United States, and Amir never had an opportunity to visit his extended family. He had a 2-week stint in the summer where he was able to go to visit his family, and he obtained permission from the Iranian interest section in Washington, D.C. And he was very transparent before he went. He wanted to ensure that his military service here in the U.S. would not bring any problems for him, and was reassured there that it would not.
And Doctor, how did you find out that he was being held, that he'd been picked up by the Iranians? Because at one point he was sentenced to death. That was vacated, but then he was sentenced in a secret trial to, I think, 10 years. So when did you first learn that he'd been picked up in the first place?
We knew the day that he was picked up that he was missing. Family reported him missing from the apartment he was staying at. He stayed months. We were in the dark for months. Never had an official report. Contacted the State Department. We had indirect advice from the State Department, you know, stay quiet, try to deal with it diplomatically. We're still appealing for a diplomatic release, and we're not any different. But we were so quiet. All that while, he was being tortured, forced into a confession, confined into a 1 meter by 1 meter cell. This is before his 3 meter by 3 meter cell. 1 meter by 1 meter with a 10-minute break once a week to stretch his legs. And at that point, it was the worst torture he'd ever had, and we were silent, thinking that we would plead the cases. Lawyers there, people here, we did our best, only to find that our complacency and quiet approach, they built up a case for him, and then sometime in December, released that they had caught a spy, and then in January of 2012, sentenced him to death.
Sarah, why did he join the Marines?
You know, he always wanted to be somebody that could achieve something that nobody has done before, and as a first-generation American, he felt that this was such an honorable way to do that. He always valued his service. He learned so much from his opportunity to serve in Iraq and to be able to help translate for officials there, and he really felt like his role was crucial because as someone with a Middle Eastern background, he was also able to help people to understand how to interact appropriately with the civilians. You know, he really, really appreciated what he was able to experience in his service there.
Doctor, certainly Montel Williams has been out there slugging it out, trying to get attention to this. I'm curious whether whether our government has been likewise helpful. And I realize it's complicated by these negotiations with Iran. But are you satisfied or dissatisfied with the role of the State Department in helping you?
You we respect our government. It's an honor and privilege to be here and be able to have a criticism of our government. Other people don't have that luxury. Having said that, we respect the efforts they've made directly the State Department, but on our end, it's Congressman Kildee. He's come through 100% for us, and he's been our champion speaking out for Amir. State Department has been, we'd like them to do more. Without question, they've shown that they can do more for other people. We'd like them to do everything they can for Amir, because Amir put his life on the line for this country. He'd do it again. Bring him home. He'd do it right now. And we want the State Department to show that same resolve.
Sarah and Rami, thank you. I hope the next time we're talking, and I hope it's very soon, it's about your brother and brother-in-law on his way home. Thank you both.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Deeply disturbed and shaken, those are the words of Amir Hekmati, forced to survive in Iran's brutal Evin prison. And the Marines Congressman Dan Kildee doing what he can to help his constituent, our Marine, leaving his guest seat open at the State of the Union, a tribute to Amir. But he did not stop there. Congressman Kildee even confronting President Obama more than once, asking him to bring Amir home.